Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Hedge F1 Racing League practice session in Singapore. We are in Singapore this Friday for the next chapter of Hedge Racing, and I'm joined alongside my commentator, as always, Captain Limmy.
Yes. Welcome to Singapore. Third street circuit in the calendar, one of the trickiest ones, one of the longest ones, most draining, the hardest one for real life drivers say, and it's actually happening on Saturday. We've got Italy on Friday, and we thought we'd give the drivers a couple of chances to learn the circuit, as many of them actually haven't done it before. Kez, I don't know if you're staying free quali with me.
I'm just going to sort the stream out, mate, and get the link out to everybody. You make a very good point, actually. I forgot we've got Italy first, haven't we, on Friday? And it's Singapore on Saturday. But I think we all agreed, and the drivers included, knew that they need more practice on a street circuit like Singapore than they would do in Monza. There may be a practice in Monza tomorrow or on Thursday or whenever we can fit it in. But everybody wanted to prioritise Singapore over Italy. I want to make that clear.
Yeah, and two completely different circuits as well. Italy known for its 80% track power, or 82%. Singapore known for about 43%. Less than half of the track is spent using full power. Also, the back tyres take an absolute beating in Singapore. It's always a two-stop strategy. Soft to hard is completely slow and useless. And we've got 12 drivers tonight. We've got 12 minutes of qualifying to go, and I think 31 laps at 50%. It's going to be a very long night for these drivers, but it is a practice race. Of course, we won't be sounding the happiest bunch, but it gives... I've done Singapore many times. It also gives Hedge a little chance to learn some of the most important corners and where the scraps and incidents are going to be this evening as well. I believe he's doing some behind the scenes stuff to send the stream out to different parties as well. I did a time trial myself and got a 36.6, which wasn't amazingly quick, as Hobbs already got in 9/10 just slower, and I'm sure he's going to improve on that a little bit later on. The weather, I've been told, is dynamic, but it is all dry. And in real life, if people have watched Singapore on Formula 1 in real time, you will know that Singapore has a chance of rain. It happens in a day-night cycle in Singapore. It tends to have heavy rain towards the start of the race, and then it tends to dry out after it. It's just the way the Singapore climate works. But tonight we have it all dry, and I'm sure the drivers will love it. It may not be dry on Saturday, which will be crazy. As well, we hope Italy will be dry just because of the raw power and speed Italy holds. We will do a practice race in Italy, but for now, Singapore time. I haven't commentated in Singapore in about 6 weeks. It's been a while, but I've done it a few times, and it always brings some thrills. I'm sure in a practice race as well. That's how just might click it back on.
It is, as Top Dog goes out. I'm sure you've just seen that already. You might have even commented on it, I'm not too sure, but yeah, it's into the wall. As does Ryan Mills. I'm on board with Ryan Mills, and he's lost his wing. The Renault driver.
Many wings and end plates to come off as well. On board with Mike Rebel, he had to step off his time, as I think he's going to go again with same tyres. Never mind, he's going to come into the pit lane. Now the Singapore pit lane is actually quite tricky. The safety speed line is right where you don't think it is. There's a wall to your left hand side, there's a high curve that can damage the wing. It's a 37 mile per hour pit lane, and when you come out of it, you're straight into traffic through turn 2 as well. And we're going to see some moments in the race at that point as well. We've had 10 minutes, Kez, and Hobbs is leading.
Well, I mean, Hobbs, to be fair, has been leading the majority of everything they've been doing at the moment, hasn't he? He's been flying the McLaren. What I would say is, everyone goes on about Monaco being one of the toughest, if not the toughest circuit in F1, but Singapore was definitely up there. It's basically another Monaco, in my opinion, but a little bit bigger. But there's plenty of opportunities on Singapore to lose a wing, take some serious damage, and not really many opportunities for an overtake, is there, Limmy?
No, you're right. I think obviously the main chance of an overtake is actually not the start straight. It's not actually that long. It speed down to the boulevard as you see the Mercedes go down now, down to turn 6 that is, and that's the main chance. You've got a big DRS zone, and the difficult thing though is there's a wall on the right hand side which actually lays off a hotel, and it kind of turns in a little bit, tightens the track up. So if someone goes to the left hand side of a car, and you know, if one of them has a mistake on their stick or whatever,
yeah,
you could see an awful crash down there. It's really hard to overtake, but the undercut works in the pit lane for sure, and obviously the cars in front make a mistake, Hedge.
Well, another thing I'd like to mention as well is when you see traditional circuits such as like your Australias and your Spains and all your, you know, your what's the word, not street circuits, but what's the word, Limmy, what am I looking for? Your normal circuits, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
the ones that aren't street circuits. Yeah, racing track, basically, yeah. Couldn't think of the words. When you see them sort of circuits, it's very easy to go onto the gravel or go onto the grass with them. You know, go off track but remain in the race. Whereas, as you can see on Singapore, it's very like Monaco. There's not really anywhere to go. If you come off track, you're going into the wall. There's no grass there or gravel to save you. It's such a narrow circuit.
Yeah, I mean, we saw in real life Hamilton 2017, 4 safety cars, Vettel 2019, 5 safety cars, took over the 2-hour mark in each of those. The race itself, fully dry, does take about 1 hour and 45 minutes without a safety car. It's a very long Grand Prix. It is the longest one. It's actually longer than Monaco, and it's such a only less than half of your time is spent using full power, and there's 61 laps of a 3.5-mile street circuit. It's really, really long.
Love your knowledge there, Limmy. Love the knowledge.
And also, it could literally, with safety cars, Hedge, on Saturday take, I'm not even joking, with the weather as well, up to 1 hour to do a 50% race, and the drivers are going to have to keep their concentration.
We best make sure we sat very comfy on Saturday, put it that way. We could be here a while. But it's like what we say is, if you're looking at it now, it's only a practice session, and of course the concentration of us and the drivers isn't as well, I can't think of any words tonight. We're not as focused, we're not as interested in a practice session for obvious reasons. It's a practice, it doesn't count for anything, but it gives the drivers and us as well, like Limmy said earlier, a perfect opportunity to prepare for Saturday. It is arguably the toughest circuit in F1, and if you look tonight, we've already lost 3 in qualifying. I haven't got a full grid tonight, just the 12, as Limmy's already said earlier. But it's going to be the only chance that we're going to have to practice. Obviously people can practice individually on their own, but in terms of as a group, it is the only time we're going to have only chance we're going to have to practice on this circuit. So, got to make the most of it. What you don't want to do is go out on the first lap, because what have you actually gained from that? You gain no practice at all. And even if you come last, just finish it, get some practice under your belt, and look forward to Saturday. Of course, the priority before Italy's a much nicer circuit than Singapore, so I'm sure that the majority of drivers won't be worrying about Italy as much, and the thoughts will be on.
Absolutely, I think Italy's really fun. This would not be classed as fun. It's hard, and we've had some fantastic races, and what we can class as a fantastic races, the amount of cars left sometimes. In Belgium 6, Monaco 5. We expect, if we have 16 or more, we expect it to come down to less than 10. Austria had 9. Australia didn't have too many.
Monaco had 6.
This track is really, really, really hard for people that are not actually, you know, I don't want to say good at Formula 1, but don't understand quite the physics of driving an F1 car at a good speed. This is a downforce heavy track. It's all about your exit speed. It's all about looking after the back tyres, which only some of the drivers can do properly.
Let me sorry to chip in really quickly. If you was on board with Jelly and I'm watching Jelly on his lap, there was a section I should have shown you as he went past it. I'll try and show you again in a moment. But Top Dog, one of the drivers who's gone out, has actually put in the chat that he hit an invisible wall, which sounds a bit crazy, but we've witnessed this before. There is a barrier on Singapore that has been known to a lot of people, especially people who play F1 frequently, that you can't see, and if you hit it, you go out of the race. I wanted to just quickly highlight that. Actually, Jay Wills, if you get on board with Jay Wills now, probably has he gone past it? I don't believe he has yet. No, he hasn't.
Right.
We'll show you in a moment. It is the next right now, as Limmy said. It's just literally there now. J-Bill's just avoided it. You can't see it. It doesn't happen all the time, but we play multiple F1 seasons, like in a friendship group, and the amount of time someone's hitting to that barrier is a nightmare. The AI do it, we do it, but unfortunately it's not been taken out of the game, and there's not much you can do about it. It's very frustrating, as Top Dog has found out. But what I would suggest is, if you are listening to J-Bill's clip to the wall, is just try and stay away from that as much as you can. I know it's frustrating because you can't see it, but just try and avoid that as much as you can. I'll try and show you again in a moment.
It's alright, Kez. It's all good, I think.
Do you get the point?
It's turn 8, it's an invisible wall, and every now and again, it is rare, it just comes out and you can't see it.
So not fix it, isn't there?
What might happen also is it can come out, you'll just drive through it invisibly, it'll just be a wall on your screen. Sometimes you'll hit it, sometimes you won't. It's a bit harsh, never taken it out. They have sorted it for next game apparently. Just like Russia, some disconnects.
Yeah,
that
Russia's
happens on other circuits as well. There are a couple of bugs, as with every single game. Just hopefully it doesn't happen on Saturday or to Top Dog in the race. We've done many friendship leagues, pit stop problems in Canada, donuts in China Hedge.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
There are glitches in the game, but hopefully it will all be fixed for next one. The next one is out in less than 4 weeks, and I can't wait. And I'm also excited because Hedge, I don't know if everyone knows, but we've maybe added a potential final race, but whatever that decision is, I can't wait for the final commentary because it's about a week before the new F1, and it'll be so exciting.
Yeah, I can confirm actually, Limmy. I forgot to mention that. I've not put it in the Discord yet. You might have spotted it if you check the track list, but there is a new addition. You'll be aware that Britain was on, I think it was scheduled for the Saturday night as the last race of the season, literally a week before F1 comes out, or thereabouts, about a week before F1 comes out, the new F1 that is. But I've decided to add Abu Dhabi, and there's a couple of reasons why I've added that track. For starters, it is the final circuit in F1 in real life. Does it remain the final circuit this season, Limmy, in real life?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Didn't know if they changed it with the new ones being added. So Abu Dhabi is the final circuit in real life. It's a great circuit. You love Abu Dhabi, you've got to love Abu Dhabi. And I thought, if it's the final circuit in real life, it's got to be the final circuit.
To commentate an end to an F1.
So Britain will now be the Friday night home soil for a lot of people, and Abu Dhabi will now be the Saturday night. So it'll be a really good last weekend, as Limmy said. Obviously, it's a while away yet. We're not going to prioritise that, but I wanted to put it out there. I'm glad you mentioned it, Limmy, because I forgot to let everybody know. So we have got 15 tracks now, which isn't bad. Considering we only started this a few weeks ago, we managed to fit in the majority of the circuits. We've not done bad at all. And hopefully, like I said, Limmy, I'm assuming you're doing... Are you doing all the circuits in your league next season?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Got 2 new ones, haven't we? Is it Netherlands and... I forgot the other one.
It is Zambia and Vietnam.
Vietnam, that's the one. So we've got 23 circuits in the league. That should be interesting. 22? Is it 22?
Yeah. Germany's not in it anymore.
Oh, Germany, yeah. Germany's gone.
And
you're right.
We have 75 seconds left of quali. Many cars are out, apart from 4. Try to get their final laps in. We will hold some discussions during the race, because there will be some parts where it's a little bit stale, of course. It's just a practice. And we'll go back to talking about next F1 and what is in store after this quali ends. 60 seconds to go. Chris Panda leads by 7 tenths. Obviously second in his McLaren. Mike and Jelly third and fourth in the Red Bulls. Jacko's on a set of mediums. And outlaps for J-Wolves, Lewis and Chimp 6 in 8th. Jacob did set a time, so did Smithy, the 2 Italian Ferraris, but they retired. Top Dog, as Heg said, into the invisible wall. And Millsy retired early on as Jacko hits his wing.
Jacko hits his wing? Oh, I didn't see that. I'm on board with Chimp. Chimp on his fast lap. He needs to improve Chimp, or Jelly retires, and I don't think that was intentional. It may have been. I'm not sure. Was it? It may have been intentional. Yeah, it looks like it has. He's pulled to the side. So a P4 for Jelly. There's a bit of battle going on. Hobbsy obviously coming in P2 in Spain. That was behind... I forgot his name. How bad is that? J. Luke. Bit rusty tonight. J. Luke winning in Spain. Obviously Hobbs coming second. Jelly, who's been pretty good, shall we say, throughout this season. The leader so far. Did slip up in Spain on his own accord, and knows he needs to improve this weekend with the likes of Hobbsy, J. Luke, Mike, Chris, etc. all breathing down his neck. Chris Panda getting his first podium of the season in Spain, and we're buzzing for him, weren't we, Limmy? Absolutely buzzing for him.
After he got spun, not him intentionally, but got hit a little bit and spun on turn 2 with last by lap 1 in Spain. And Spain's tricky as well. To come back to get a podium is superb. Qualifying is over, and we've got 4 cars on remaining laps. The first one to cross is going to be it will be Jay Wills. He's just entering the third sector, and that is turn 17, just going down to 18 now. This is the tunnel section, probably one of the best places to sit as a fan, as Mike in the other Red Bull with tyres. Jay Wills, is he up on his time? I'm not sure. He's run out of ERS already, so using 5 mode, or mode 5, which we don't have next year, he will enter a 5th place time. Jacko will be next to cross, coming through the final chicane, and we might see some people slip round there because it's really tricky. It's actually, as he pits and cancels his lap, so only Hobbsy is able to take pole at the moment, but I think he's down on his time, so it's a Chris Panda and Hobbsy front row, Hedghog.
Yeah, I think Hobbsy's given up, mate. He looked like he wasn't. Has he got time to another lap? I don't believe he does. He's definitely not going to beat Chris Panda anyway. But I would say is Chris Panda, to be fair, I don't really have any pressure on him in this qualifying. It's a very, very comfortable qualifying from Chris Panda. No one's really breathing down his neck at all.
It's not a bad lap, actually. I mean, I did a time trial of 36.6 for a one lapper. 36.8, he's not too bad, actually. And Chris Panda will be able to go away, I'm sure, and do his practice laps before the race on Saturday.
Yeah.
Like you say, more practice required for a track like this. Everyone knows Italy. This circuit has actually been changed quite a couple of times over recent years. It's had the bridge section that you used to know down to 13, which is an absolute nightmare, rechanged, so it's not as dangerous. It's still dangerous, but not as bad. Yeah, Chris Panda, 7 temps up. We've got times from 0.6 down to 2.4 with the Alpha of Jacko. Then a big gap to Lewis and Chimp, 4.5, 4.6, and then Smithy with a heavy rain time of a 2-minute 13. Interesting grid, Kez. I think Chris Panda will be happy with that, but it's all about the start in Singapore, as we've seen in real Formula 1.
Oh, of course it is, Limmy. Like I said, we mentioned it already, there's not really much room for error on Singapore, and not really much room for an overtake, as Limmy's already covered. Chris Panda will be buzzing with that. Obviously, tonight doesn't really matter. You want to do it again on Saturday. But I'm sure he'll be impressed with that, because he wants to watch Chris Panda. He's had a taste of that podium now. He's had a taste of that champagne. I'm certain he'll want more champagne this weekend. Especially it being the weekend as well.
If you did 55 minutes to an hour driving 31 laps of Singapore, how good would it be to be on that podium?
And that's what I mean, especially, but podiums are good whenever you get them, whether it's Italy, Austria, Singapore, wherever. But to get a podium on the likes of Monaco, Singapore, etc., them street circuits that are so hard to keep concentration throughout the full race, it tastes that little bit sweeter, definitely.
I still find it insane. Hobbsy is the only driver to have had a podium in every single race. That is a stat and a half, and that's why he's close to the top as we begin the formation lap for Singapore.
Just to correct you, Limmy,
leads him away.
You're actually wrong. He got a DNF in Belgium, did Hobbsy. I remember.
What was the stat then? There was
the
something.
Stat was, I do remember, there was a stat, you're right.
Is that the stat?
No, the stat was, I remember, a Red Bull had been on the podium every race. Did that change in Spain though? Or did Mike get... No, that changed. That's gone, that stat's gone. Because Jelly went out in Spain and Mike got a P4.
There was a stat with Hobbsy. Yeah, you're right, yeah.
It might have been a stat with Hobbsy though.
I mean, quali, Hobbsy got second, first, second.
It might have been the quali. Yeah, it might have been the quali, yeah.
And first, yeah, it is. So he's had a front row quali every single quali. So Hobbsy started first or second, which is actually quite unbelievable.
Well, we knew he was quick, and he's competed very well with Jelly. I mean, Jelly's got a bit of pressure on him now after that slip up in Spain, and with Hobbsy capitalising on it. And let's not forget J Luke. J Luke can't race on Fridays, but he will be here on Saturday, and he's raced twice and got two podiums. So he probably won't catch the top end of the list now, due to obviously enjoying midway through the season and only being able to race Saturdays. But he is still one to watch. If he keeps getting podiums on these Saturdays, he'll be up there. Make no mistake about that.
100%.
We ain't got any racing points on that either, Limmy. I'll touch on them quickly because they've been really good. Arav and Favi. I mean, Favi's had a bit of a sticky spell, hasn't he, last weekend?
Yeah, so Favi hasn't finished. Oh, sorry, he didn't finish Spain.
Didn't finish either of them at the weekend.
I think he finished Austria. No.
He didn't finish
so
either.
Favi had the chance for Racing Point to catch up to Red Bull a little bit. But now that gap remains quite big as we go into the next weekend very soon. But we're not even on Wednesday yet. But we have got a practice race for Singapore. And should be interesting. Gives us a chance to get used to it as well.
Definitely does, Limmy. You take it away. I think my dog needs to go for a wee, so I'm going to have to mute my mic a minute, let my dog out, and leave you to it. I'll be 2 minutes.
That's alright. Kieran's dog needs a wee, and we will continue on to Singapore. As interestingly, Jay Wills has left a bit of a gap to the Red Bull of Jelly, and maybe to help his temperatures a little bit. We won't have to wait long because Mills P12 is the last car to line up on the grid as we get ready for Singapore very shortly. Got a decent view as well at the start, so we'll get used to this as well. The lights are now coming on for the first practice race for Singapore. It's lights out and away we go. Wasn't over very long. I think Mike got a pretty good start as well. He's already bypassed Hobbsy all wheel to wheel into turn one. Mike is into second, and Chris Panda gets away well as Hobbsy comes back towards the Red Bull down to turn 3, and out we go to set us up. And Hobbsy's now back into the P2 with Mike tucking in behind, and Mike might make a move down here. He doesn't, and Jay Wills might have got a decent exit. He tucks in behind. Down the boulevard we go, and 31 times we have it tonight. Chris Panda leads, Hobbsy's back into his P2, and Mike tucks into third.
Yeah, not much change. I mean, Smithy's gone up by 3. I think a few people may have forgot about the manual race starts. Of course, we included that.
Oh, Mike's dropped to P5. He's just lost 2 positions, and there's a VSC for some damage on the track. I think Jacko has damage to his left end plate. I think Mike has damage. No, never mind. So Jacko does have some damage, Kez. Jay Wills is fine. The
Ferrari of Jacob Bryce is missing an end plate as well, Limmy. He got a penalty for a collision with somebody. There's another Ferrari. It's Smithy, who's got no wing at all. I think
that is for VSC, then.
No wing at all for Smithy. So both Ferraris with damage, and it means if they don't communicate, I'm hoping they do. As another, as Smithy's just brake check, top dog by the looks of it. Maybe got a bit confused because of the VSC. I'm not too sure. But we've got a bit of damage all over the grid. We've got Smithy, Top Dog and Jacob all with damage. And if the Ferraris both pick together now, it's going to be an unfortunate double stack, which is not ideal.
We're routing to the final sector, turn 17 on board with Chris Panda. Second gap. The VSC's obviously brought him down a little bit to that. 1.4 is still good though. And really good start by Chris Panda, and Hobbsy made a good use of that VSC. The gap's down to a second. Jelly's third, Jay Wills, good start by him. He's fourth. Mike was second, dropped to third, dropped to fifth. And like Kes said, 2 Ferraris have a bit of a mare. Jacko in the Alpha returns to the pit lane as the 154 comes in after 3/4 of a lap was done by a VSC.
I think a lot of people forgot about the manual race start, Limmy. I think I already mentioned it a minute ago, but just to clarify on that, it's the first time we've used a manual race start this season. We voted for it, put a poll out on everybody. Well, the majority wanted manual race starts included in the league, so we've put them in now. A couple of people not used to them, so that may have twisted a few things early doors, as Jacko goes for the hard compound, which is brutal in Singapore, but he feels he can do it with 31 laps. There's a yellow flag, I believe. I mean, it's Jacob Bryce in the Ferrari. Is that the invisible barrier? I don't believe it is. No, it is not the invisible barrier, just hit into the wall. That's more damage for Jacob, who's now got no wing.
Jacko pitted early, put on a set of hards. Smithy pitted early, put on a set of mediums. We expect the other Ferrari to pit as well. Chris Panda leads 2.5 seconds as he routes down to the second long straight out of 13. There was a yellow flag, and Hobbsy has been overtaken by the Red Bull of Jelly. I didn't see what happened. He's got damage to his right end plate. He's clipped the wall of 13, and Hobbsy has now got damage as he's under pressure from his teammate Jay Wills.
Yeah, I saw that. Limmy, Hobbsy just took it a bit late, clipped his wing and has got damage, which has cost him. Jay Wills has had a superb start. He's competing with his teammate, which I'm sure Hobbsy will be impressed with because he carried the load a bit this season, has Hobbsy. And for Jay Wills to get some points, obviously it doesn't matter tonight, but for Jay Wills to start tasting the front of the grid a little bit, I'm sure to do the McLaren's good. I would imagine Hobbsy's going to go into the pits, because what you don't want to do on this circuit especially his drive with any sort of wing damage. I'm sure you'll agree, Limmy.
So interestingly, Mills started P12 and got a choice of a tyre, and I don't know if he's done it himself, but he's on hards, which will take him close to the end. It's just very, very slow on a track like this. The gap between Chris and Hobbsy was about 3 seconds. Now Jelly 3 tenths behind with DRS, and down the boulevard we go. It's the first time we've had DRS, and Chris Panda may have just got away pretty well here, routing down to turn 7 at the bottom here, the 90-degree left-hander. No moves from Jelly yet, but he's getting close.
He's breathing down Chris Panda's neck, and I'm sure Chris will feel the pressure a little bit. He's had a superb start, but Jelly, it's only been a matter of time until Jelly goes for that overtake, and it could get a little bit spicy in Singapore.
The two Red Bulls are getting really close to the cars in front of them. Jelly 2 temps to Chris, Mike 4 temps to Jay Wills. We have a yellow flag. It's a Mercedes, and it might have been Lewis because he's the only one.
Yeah, has he got damage, I think, Limmy? Doesn't look like it, actually.
He's turning pretty awfully,
yeah, he does have damage, of course he does.
He does. Full of his left side of a wing. Yeah. So Lewis is going to have to pit and probably do a 2-stop medium. Probably the fastest from there. The two Red Bulls still hunt down Chris Panda and Jay Wills respectively.
Lewis is up 2, but like you say, obviously due to that damage, should go into the pits. That gives Chimp and Mills a chance as Mills loses some traction, and he's lost a lot of time there, Mills. He's not got any damage, I don't believe. I can't see the front of his Renault just yet. He's got no damage onto the hard compound, but obviously struggling already, Mills.
Oh, Mercedes is off.
Yeah, Lewis again.
14. Is that, yeah,
Lewis again, yeah.
Right.
Struggling.
And here's Jelly then, cutting the curve nicely. He's right behind the Renault of Chris Panda with DRS. It's so hard to overtake down there. You can't even get into 8th gear. Jelly's going to try and get as close to the car in front to have a go down the boulevard, and Chris Panda had a really good start, and with Hobbsy having an accident and him and tussling with Mike out of turns 2, 3 and 4, and then swapping as Jelly gets so close to the back of that gearbox, but Chris Panda gets another good exit. But will it be enough? I think it is. You need to be so tight within 2 or 3 attempts to have a go, and Chris Panda survives again.
Yeah, Chris Panda's led from lap 4, and I don't believe he's lost his P1 at all. He has a Ferrari of Jacob Bryce. He is struggling, and he's got more. Has he got more damage? I haven't got the angle just yet. He has again. It's the left-hand side of his Ferrari, and both Ferraris really struggling in Singapore, and they've got work to do.
So Jacob already costing Ferrari £250,000 for his front wing.
I'm sure they can afford it.
Yeah, I'm sure we can. with Chimp buying all their merch. As Jay Wills getting close to the wall on about 3 occasions there. Mike's just, whoa, there you go, there's the pressure coming in as Jay Wills nearly, well, he does go wide at 13, but doesn't give the position away. It's all pressure now. It's who can crumble and who can keep it. It's so hard to overtake. You just got to put your car in the right decisions, and Jelly, we can remain on board with the Red Bull Kazazi again. Probably will try, as you see the Ferris wheel in the background. What a view that would be. Probably cost you about £500,000 to go up. But the
most expensive Ferris wheel in the world. Not like Blackpool, is it?
Yeah, not like the London Eyes.
But no, what I would say is if you look to the right of your screen, you'll see the full track map, and you can see 2 real battles. You've got the yellow of Chris Panda with Jelly right behind him, and just a bit further back you've got Wills and Mike. And it looks like Wills has gone into the pits, as I mentioned. Wills, he does, which gives Mike the opportunity to overtake. If Jelly gets a penalty,
that was a penalty.
I'm sure you're going to cover that, Limmy.
Yeah, it was a penalty. He's also going wheel to wheel down. Oh, a little bit of wheel banging between the Red Bull and the Renault down to turn 5, and Jelly does take the lead. But yeah, it was a penalty. He put about 3/4 of his car over the curb, and I was just about to say 2 battles going on, and a Ferrari getting lapped on the stand lap 5.
Yeah, that is worrying him. It's the first time Chris Panda has lost his P1, but with Jelly having a penalty, Chris knows he's got to stay behind him. We've got another yellow flag. It's the Mercedes of Lewis. He's struggling tonight.
Yeah, you're right.
And with the hard compound, has he got damage? Doesn't. He doesn't look like it.
Oh, damage for Chris Panda. I just saw it. He just went through turn 10, I think it is, and clipped the wall quite forcibly, and has got damage to his right end plate, just Chris Panda. Luckily for him, though, Kaz, it's 7.5 second gap for now.
Yeah, he's obviously jealous. Gives Jelly an opportunity to pull away a little bit. Jelly needs to pull away, obviously getting that early penalty. Of course, there's plenty of time to go. I'm likely there's going to be more penalties yet, but it gives Jelly a chance now. Bit of breathing space and to pull away. What I would mention as well is with the soft compound, you can see already we've only done 5 laps, but them softs you can see on the Chris Panda's Renault, they look worn already. And this is what Singapore does to your tyres. It's a very tyre demanding circuit. And as you can see, 5 laps in, as mentioned, look at Chris Panda's softs. There is no shine to them anymore.
Yeah, so it's for back tyres that get warm. The front are not actually too bad. The shine goes away about 10%.
Yeah.
It's for back tyres
Oh,
that
yeah,
are
you can
absolutely
see. Yeah.
ruined on Singapore. Fronts are fine. You're not actually using the fronts too much. It's because of the low speed exits. You're dragging the car around you. You're forcing the car around, which is why really you want a rear tyre support setup. For Singapore, it's not always.
Mills. Sorry to interrupt, Limmy. Mills went for the overtake on Chimp and he's took it really wide. He had a chance of getting Chimp and he's lost it. Here's the yellow flag. I like his likes of Wills an opportunity.
I think there's damage on the track as well, Kez. And Jay Wills is catching up to that Renault. Jacko's got a 3.3 gap. Smithy's just behind Jacko's going everywhere in his Alfa Romeo for the final chicane. He is on hard tyres, struggling. Chris Panda, Mike and Chimp decide to pit.
I was about to say that Mills and Chimp have had a real battle then. Both had a really promising start. Mills up 7, for example. But it kind of went to pot a little bit, about to talk about it, and Mills took it wide, Chimp in the pits, as you mentioned. But Mills will be happy, he'll be content, and what he's done, Mills, this season, he's been a very consistent racer. We've not really mentioned him too much, he's not been up there for podiums by any means, but then P5s and P6s have belonged to Mills all season, very consistent in the Renault, and both him and Chris Panda are doing the job, and we've been talking about the Red Bull and the racing points and the constructors, but I think Renault deserve a fair crack of the whip as well, Limmy. They've done a really good job this season.
Yeah, 100%. And Ryan Mills, I think no damage at the moment, and he's just 1 second behind the McLaren of Jay Wills, trying to hunt him down. The person on topic at the moment, Hobbsy did pit earlier, 30-second gap to Jelly. Of course, didn't out with his damage, and he's tussling with Mike at the start of the race. It was a really good tussle, that, by the way, Kaz. A really good one through turns 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5. And if we get any of that on Saturday, obviously we'll be shouting all over it.
Of course, we'll be all over it.
That would be insane.
There's been a couple of battles. I mean, the Red Bulls were in battles, their own individual battles, weren't they? Mike with, was it Wills a bit earlier on? And obviously Chris and Jelly were going at it. Settled down a little bit now, there's not really much going on. There's bits and bobs. Mike and Chris Panda are fairly close. But other than that, there's not really much going on. Is it Mike and Chris Panda? It is Mike and Chris Panda. Not much between them both. Nobody's out yet, which is something. We're 7 laps in and we haven't lost a driver yet, which is something.
Oh, Chris Panda has stacked Jelly in the pits. Chris Panda has undercutted Jelly in the pits. And do you know what? I think I said it before the race. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I did say the only way you'll get past people is undercutting. And mistakes.
You did, you called it, and that's proof.
Don't forget, the undercut, this track time at race pace is about 1 minute and 40 plus on a dry track. And that means, he's going wheel to wheel here. The two Red Bulls I didn't even see coming out of turn 8 into the right chicane, and I think Jelly just had to be inside as Mike tried to switch back. A yellow flag, top VSC for Top Dog with tyre in just under the tunnel hedge.
Well, every time I say something, it goes against me. I said about 30 seconds ago, no one's retired yet. And there goes Top Dog.
Commentator's curse would be
the commentator's curse, I like that. Every time I mention something, it happened. Top Dog retires, unfortunately. It took 7 laps. As Jacob Bryce's Ferrari sounds awful, so we'll get off that straight away. Does not sound good.
So me and Lego did our first commentaries together, and Lego said, bet you someone goes out on that corner next lap.
And they did.
And we invented the CC, the commentator's curse from
that point. We'll use that more
often. So Chris Panda has set Jelly out the pits. Now, interestingly, the hards are terrible on here, not going to lie. However, Chris Panda is now a pit stop ahead. If he can go to the end, he'll have to do 26 laps of racing on the hard tyre. 3/4 of them have just been done on a VSC. It is possible. Jelly will have to go double medium, Kez. So, yeah, the hard should be slower, but you don't know. I mean, look at him, he's already right on the back of Hobbs. I'm sure you were just about to mention.
Yeah.
And this is now fighting for the race win, because we know Hobbsy likes a one-stop.
That's what I was literally nail on the head, Limmy. I was going to say, if there's 2 players that like the hard compound, it is Hobbsy and Chris. We saw Chris in the practice in Austria last week, probably his best time to use them. He used the hards throughout pretty much all the practice in Austria last week, because he goes for a bit of a dive bomb. And gets
late
it.
braking from Chris Panda. And it was really late, but it worked. Hobbs has clipped the wall of turn 8 as well. Is that damage it looked for? Oh, he's got both sides of his wing damaged. Hobbs is in big trouble.
We have a bit of a battle going on here, don't we? Don't we, Limmy? Got Panda, Hobbsy, Jelly and Mike all very close. And J-Wills isn't a million mile behind either. And he's doing well, J-Wills. We're very used to saying the likes of Hobbsy, Panda and Jelly, and especially Mike
Hobbsy
as well.
Are
all up there. J-Wills is doing well here, and if I don't curse it, and I'll probably get a DNF in a minute, won't he? But no, take it away, Limmy. There's a real battle on, a four-way battle here for
so
P1.
I always thought the lights just then behind Jelly were speed cameras, and the F1 cars were speeding. I later found out it's just for fans.
You thought it was speed cameras?
Yeah, I was commentating once and I said, look at all them speed cameras for like on lap 1, and it's just for fans. As Jelly gets really close to Hobbs. Oh, he picked up another 3-second pen, does our Jelly, and 6 seconds for Red Bull driver. I don't believe anyone else has any. At the moment, as Hobbsy goes wide on the final corner, trying to re-enter the track as they go wheel to wheel down to turn 1, but Hobbsy has quite a bit of damage. Joey doesn't. Joey's into P2, and that's a little bit of scrap in there has given Chris Panda a 3-second getaway, and also brought Mike in, the other Red Bull, to Jelly, just behind the McLaren of Hobbsy. As down the boulevard we go. I expect Mike to get a decent exit here, but unfortunately for him, Hobbsy's got DRS, but Hobbsy is degrading. Mike's going to go to the left-hand side. Is the dive bomb coming in down to turn 7? It isn't, and Hobbsy maintains P3.
Apologies, Limmy. My dog is being a bit of a pain in the arse, so we're trying to get him back in the house. So I've not been talking for a few minutes. I do apologise for that. Just trying to sort him out, Limmy. So if you want to carry on your own for literally 2 minutes while I sort it out, don't want him barking down the mic.
Dog issues.
Typical, isn't it? The one time I do commentary, he's behaved all day and then does this. So give me 30 seconds and I should be back. Apologies.
Dog issues in the Hedge household, as Mike Whitty also has a McLaren in front of him, but he wants to get past, but he lacks on the exit speed. Obviously seems to be surviving with that damaged wing as we go on board. Actually, let's go dynamic with Mike and his bright pink helmet. You can't miss the guy. And I'm guessing on track this is going to be the next overtake, as Jacko does close on Mills though, down to a second, down to 9/10. We'll go to that in a second, as Hobbs is struggling now. The hardest section he has to deal with the damage. You can see actually his wing is actually still there. When you say actually 2 times in one sentence, in the side is a yellow flag. In sector 2 it's a Ferrari, I don't know who it is, we'll go back to it in a little bit if we can, and Hobbsy decides to pit, and that puts Mike into P3, Jelly's P2, and Jay Wills, that pushes him up 1. Mills is coming round the final corner, he is under pressure from the alpha of Jacko though, who's less than a second, and Ryan Mills is going to get past Hobbsy. There's a VSC as well, as Jacob Rice retires on a place. I wouldn't expect it, and that straight down to 16. That looks turn 15, the little left kink. Has he gone into the one side, which is pretty rare, never really seen that before, but there's only one Jacob Rice, and there you go, we have a VSC, and his car has been taken off the track, and we should be able to get going very soon. Chris Panda's lead, 3 seconds at the moment. Mike to Jake, 4.6. Jay Wills to Mike, 2.8, and 11 to Mills, as Lewis picks up a drive-through penalty for speeding on the VSC, and that is his practice race over, but he might as well stay and get the practice in, because it looks like he needs a little bit. Hobbsy, oh dear, 3-second penalty for a McLaren driver for corner cutting. DRS is back on, and Jelly's got 6 seconds as well. Lewis picks up a 3-second for corner cutting. Don't corner cut under a VSC is the best advice. Chris Panda, 3-second gap dropped to 2.7 as Jelly closes the gap, and the longer Chris Panda can hold him off, the better, as Mike closes as well. So they start to tussle. Chris Panda and Jelly at a point. Mike will be able to get involved as well. J Wills 2.8, Mills 10.3, closing the gap, but he is on the hards. And Jacko 0.4 seconds behind Millsy now. He really wants to get past the Renault driver going under the tunnel section. Again, I keep saying it, but it is one of the hardest sections. It's really hard. I mean, you got the bridge part as well, but that is tough. And Jacko on the back of the Renault. Mills is, I'm sure, feeling the pressure as he clips a good curve, gets a good exit. He has DRS. He goes to the left-hand side, but I don't think, actually, he does have the speed. I think Mills will let go and let Jacko through for P5. But don't think Mills is giving up here. If he stays close down the boulevard, he might have a chance. Let's see what his exit out of 3 is about. Down to turn 4, just this little right kink. I don't know how it's a turn, but down to turn 5, and Mills has dropped off a little bit, and Jacko keeps the P5.
Hello. I do apologise. This is what practice races are for, aren't they, for issues like this? My dog hasn't behaved, so...
Chris Pandas has clicked another wall in the same area. Now, I can't get a dynamic view for damage, but it looked like, he did hit it hard enough. And he had front left end plate, and that's the thing about Singapore. You could be 3 seconds ahead, you could be controlling the race, and there you go. And also, just to add, J Wills penalty, and I think someone's gone wide.
Yeah,
and
it's J Wills.
J Wills. He's had a penalty, and he's gone off at turn 13. We're going to have to remember that turn, because a lot of stuff will happen there. He hasn't got any damage, but it's a really, really tight corner. And if you brake too late, you're going in the runoff area.
Apologies for that again, Limmy. Didn't expect to have to go and deal with my dog. But this is what practice races are for, like you say. These things happen. I'd rather him do it now and be a pain in the arse now than at the weekend. So I do apologise again. Try to get up to speed. Do you want to bring us a bit of a tyre update, Limmy? What are your thoughts on everybody's tyres? Do you think they're going to be pitting soon? What do you expect?
No, I think pit stops right now will be damage based.
Lewis
has retired from the session.
Another one bites the dust.
Oh, he's blocking the track as well. That might be a VSC. Chimp can get past, but he didn't expect the gap to be that tight. No VSC. His car is halfway on the track. It really should be a safety car or VSC, but it isn't, and we carry on. Tyre update. No, I don't expect any.
Oh, and Smithy's hitting Limmy. Smithy's just hit Lewis, didn't see him. And got damage to the right end plate, which is a bit of a shame for the Ferrari. But I mean, that is, like you say, how that's not a safety car on VSC is beyond me, really.
I mean, it would have been double. Oh, Lewis, a Spanish Ferrari going into the pit lane on the side of a wall. And, I mean, we got his power sorted before the race, and now he's trying to do a 3-point turn in an F1 car, which, if he keeps blasting left and right, he can't do. And he's just going to have to not go in the pit lane or keep reversing. And will he get in the pit lane? Oh, will he make it? There we go. He's turned from a 3-point turn to a 15-point turn for Smithy. Took about 20 seconds. Trying to do a 3-point turn in a Ferrari isn't really great. He's gone on for hard tyres to the end. Yellow flag in sector 2, and that's the McLaren again. It's J Wills again at the bridge section at turn 13. And I think he might have some damage to his left side of his wing, and he does. No, he doesn't actually, but he has gone off again, and I believe, Kez, that is a braking issue. Braking too late and not early enough for that corner, because don't forget, the more you wear your tyres, the earlier you have to brake. He's just also clipped a wall, and I think for that, still doesn't have damage. J Wills is on thin ice.
Like I said, Limmy, it's very easy to make an error on this circuit. You can race cleanly for 30 laps, and if you do that, then fair play to him, may I add. But you can go out on the last lap. Obviously that can happen on any circuit, but especially on a street circuit. We've mentioned it 3 or 4 times already. There's no room for error on a circuit like this. Hobbsy gets an overtake on Mills and pulls away now on the tail of Jacko.
So obviously it's been a scary dive bomb that, because if Mills didn't turn out the way, obviously Hobbsy's on quicker tyres and quicker pace at the moment. If Mills didn't get out of the way, that could have caused a big issue there. So you've got to be careful, because if you do that in a real race, you're in trouble, as he does it again to Jacko down the boulevard and causes damage to himself. No, but it did cause damage to Jacko. So that's what I mean. Hobbsy's tried 2 dive bombs there. He's lucky that Mills moved out of the way on the first one. Jacko didn't move out of the way on the second one, causes damage to the Alpha.
Yeah, well, Jacko's not happy about that. You can tell the way he's reacted on track. He's got no end plates. as the Alpha. So Hobbs gets another penalty. It's not looking good for the McLaren. And him and Jacko having a real battle here. You can see both not happy with each other. Jacko obviously, like you say, Limmy, has damage. Obviously goes for another overtake. Jacko not giving him the room and knocks him into the wall. We have a real incident between the two of them here, all on stream. I mean, look at that. That is not good. Not good at all from the two of them, and they will have words with them. As Mills
comes in as well.
Comes in out of nowhere, but as you can see, that's all on stream. And Hobbs and Jacko got to be careful there because.
So Jacko has a right to be angry, 100%.
He does, but at the same time,
Hobbsy's dive bombing again.
I appreciate what you're saying. He has a right to be angry, but at the same time, you can't react like that. You're just as bad as Hobbsy by knocking him off track.
That's it. I mean, obviously, if the race was done Saturday,
of course, I'm sure they would have
get
like
a
this.
severe penalty for that. Yeah. Because you caused probably orange wing there, and Hobbsy will. I mean, probably in the side of his head. It's just a practice race, and that's easy to think, isn't it?
Yeah,
really,
of course
it really is. Now, I mean, if that happened on Saturday, it's a serious incident because, I mean, Jacko won't retaliate like that on Saturday, but at the end of the day, he's done an unrealistic dive bomb.
Yeah.
He's caused damage, severe damage to the Alfa Romeo. If this was on Saturday, Jacko's race has been ruined.
Of course, as you're right in what you're saying, Limmy, and it's very, very easy to lose a bit of concentration in a practice race, especially when it's not going your way. Obviously, it doesn't mean anything tonight, but we're trying our best here to drum it into their heads that this is a practice race, but please take it like you would do in the real race because it's preparation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've just got a message actually from sorry to butt in, Limmy. Got a message off Jacko and he's not impressed. Let's put it that way. I won't read out what he said on stream, but he's not too impressed with Hobbsy.
No, I wouldn't be either. And I think Hobbsy's bang out of order actually. I think so. He went for a dive bomb on Mills in turn 1. Now that dive bomb only worked because Mills moved out of the way.
Yeah.
Now, if that wasn't Mills, no disrespect, Mills knows what he's doing. He was quicker, fair enough. If that was any other driver, they wouldn't have moved away there. So first it's fine. Then we go down the boulevard. Hobbsy goes for a very late break-in on the left-hand side, which is actually fine. But it's so tight. So Jacko moves to the left-hand side, Kez, for the defensive line. And then Hobbsy breaks into him and causes him double wind damage.
Yeah.
Jacko hasn't done anything wrong. He hasn't placed his car in the wrong position. And, I can understand him being angry because he is probably treating it like a realistic race.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to see where he can get with the other drivers up top. And now he's not been able to do that.
Of course, I mean, it's a practice race, of course, but always Jelly gets... Did he get damaged there? He does. The right end plate of Jelly.
6 seconds, Kez.
It is the right end plate.
I think you sorted your dog out, but he does have 6 now.
Yeah, he has got damage as well, and it's the right end plate. I thought he caught the wall.
So when did Chris Panda get in front? Because Chris Panda had damage out of turn 12 to his left. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. It's a Red Bull, actually. And it's Mike at bridge section. How many times are we going to say that, Kez? It's this at bridge section.
Doesn't appear to have damage, Limmy. Just checking Chris Panda. Chris Panda still has damage. He is not pitted. So that's Jelly and Chris Panda with damage.
Yeah. And he's actually pulling away a little bit as Mike clips the wall on the left-hand side.
Mike doesn't appear to have damage, no. Let's have a quick run through all the drivers and see who has damage and who doesn't. Obviously, we've already mentioned Hobbsy, who somehow doesn't have damage, despite having a bit of a tussle with Jacko. Mills...
I never understood the physics, really. If you cause damage to another car, why haven't you caused any?
Mills not damage. He's sort of having a bit of a Sunday drive, Mills. Not really any pressure on him at all.
But he does that normally, and
that is Ryan Mills. That is the Ryan Mills.
It's quality. He lets everyone make their mistakes.
Yeah.
Drives well, drives clean, no penalties. Listen, Spain is hard. 34 laps of pure downforce with one straight. Each corner leads into another, just like this one, just like Vietnam or whatever next year. And it's so hard. Spain is really hard. That race lasted 49 minutes on Saturday. And Mills came out of a confident P6.
That's what I said earlier. You won't necessarily see Mills challenge for a podium. He's not one of the people you'd expect to do that. No disrespect to Mills, I'm sure he won't be offended by that. But he's a consistent racer. I mentioned it earlier, and you just mentioned it then. He's somebody who will just do his job. You'll never see him really cause any trouble on track. He'll sit back, not force anything. and he keeps getting points. It may not be top 3 points or podium points, but the points as a McLaren of Jay Wills.
Not Hobbs, it's Jay Wills.
Back into the pits. We're on board with Mills now. And yeah, he's just a very casual driver who just goes out and does his job.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you got 15 races on the calendar, and let's say you did get, Mills' average position is probably about P6 at the moment, in the last few. 8 points a race, 120 points is an outstanding season. I don't think he's on track for 120. We're halfway through the season. I think he's on 44, 46. But that's still good. Will he reach the 100 mark by the end of the season? That would be a really good achievement, because
100%.
If you do the maths, 15 races, 100 points. Don't forget, there's some nice tracks to come. 6.66 recurring points, which is an average of about a P7, Kez.
Yeah.
Out of 16 drivers that averagely start, that's really good.
Of course, it's a great achievement, and we bang on about it so much, bang on about the Red Bull so much and the racing points so much, and they are doing very good. They are the top 2 in constructors, so they deserve praise. But we very rarely talk about how consistent the Renaults have been overall, and Chris Panda and Mills, to be fair to them, are not always in them top 3 spots, but most of the time they're always there or thereabouts for a P4, 5 or 6, and Chris Panda seems to have got better over time. That podium's been coming for a while. He got it last week in Spain, and he's leading this race, and he's not going away, Chris Panda. He's hungry for them podiums.
So Chris Panda sent me a message after Spain. He said, listen, I'm working as hard as I can when I've got the time to prepare myself for your league, Limmy. I was like, this is what I want to see. I said to Kaz a few races ago, probably about 2-3 weeks ago, but I've seen improvement on some of the drivers since USA. The way people drive, you can't forget that USA, people didn't even know who each other were.
Yeah.
They didn't even know how each other raced. But now we have seen development. There is more competition. Jaddy's not winning every race. He won the first 2 or 3. I think it was 3. He hasn't won since. And it's good. It's good to see. Listen, in real life, we're not going to complain if Hamilton wins 22 races out of 22.
Yeah.
Actually, no, we will, because we want to see different winners and stuff. As Chris Panda picks up a 3-second pen.
Yeah, just call it a bit of a corner call. I mean, you're spot on. And let's not forget as well, I started this league up as a bit of fun. We'd left F&R, which you didn't know was another league we're involved in. I'm not going into that too much. And we was all looking forward to doing Limmy's league next season. It's a big thing. Limmy's put a lot of time and effort into it and was looking forward to it. But at the same time, we had time to burn. Obviously, during the pandemic, there's nothing you can really do. Like me.
Just hold your
go on to it, mate. Yep, go on to it.
Goes to the left-hand side of Chimp. Easy pass, carry on.
Yeah, I'll carry on where I left off. Thanks, Limmy. where was I? I've gone. Oh yeah, I know where I am. So yeah, we was all looking forward to Limmy's league, and I just thought to myself, do you know what? As we get another yellow flag, everyone keeps interrupting me. It's Smithy.
I'm actually happy you did this.
Thank you. Smithy, sorry, quickly, Limmy. We're interrupting each other.
Oh, what's going on there? Chip's going to be so angry, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened. I just saw that Smithy went out in the tunnel.
Under the tunnel.
Yeah.
And he pulls forward a little bit. Chip can't get out of the way.
Oh, look at that as well. This is not good.
What's happening here?
Not good. And Chimp hits the wall.
What is going on in Singapore?
Look, I mean, we have to realise this is a practice, but we cannot have things like that. And I'm sure Limmy will be getting a very strongly worded paragraph in the chat after this.
I'm getting my judge out, don't you worry about
no, that's what we're saying. Forget about that too much. We'll touch on that later. But yeah, this has been a really good introduction, people. And a lot of these races here play pro clubs, they play FIFA, like you say. Don't let play F1 if Jelly gets another penalty. I mean, that is big trouble for Jelly. We'll touch on that again in a moment. But yeah, a lot of these drivers don't play F1 too often. This is the first time they've been involved in a competitive scenario. And they're enjoying it and they're doing well. And there has been improvements from the majority. I won't say all, but the majority. Quickly touch on the 2 Haas drivers. They're not here tonight, but they've had points in the last couple of races. AEK's had points in the last 2 races, I believe, after getting none in the first 4 or 5. So improvements are there, and if you put practice into the game, you will be rewarded from it. It's as simple as that. But I'm not sure what happened with Smithy and Chimp now, Limmy. A bit of bragging from Smithy, maybe was it? Didn't look like he was going to let Chimp get past.
We'll watch it after. I'm going to add my opinions now, because it was a very quick section, and it all happened in 5 seconds. The other thing, I like practice races, because although there is action happening in front of us, not at the moment, minimal gaps, 2 seconds, we have a nice chat which is good, and that's sometimes part of commentary
Needed.
when things go like this, and that's what practice race is about. It's the drivers sweating their ass off, and we're not. Also, yeah, I was just about to say, so I'm happy you did this because I can practice stewarding and what things can be changed for my league. Secondly, we've learned and found some drivers that have the potential to have a good going in the lower divisions and see they have a chance at racing with other drivers, but actually go home from work or go home from college and play Formula 1 online. And also, it gives them an idea of some competitive racing, especially the people at the top. There is a clear difference, but you've got to find the balance in this league between fun and competitiveness. If people are turning up and are happy and are having fun, that's all you want.
Well, you're gonna get the odd complaint in the chat, the odd driver arguing with each other, but you're gonna get that anywhere. That's F1.
In any league.
But not one person has messaged me, and I can honestly say that not one person has messaged me and said I don't like this league, I'm not enjoying it. And what I would do is a lot of credit to the front runners. Let's give credit to the people at the back who don't necessarily get a lot of points. Jacob Rice turns up practically every week. Doesn't really get much luck, not really his game, but he turns up and he gets involved, and that's what you like to see. It's nice. He's not give up.
I mean,
and I like it.
100% as Jelly gets really close to the back of a McLaren and he's hunting down Hobbsy, as now Jelly has pit for new mediums. So is Mike. 12-second gap between the Red Bulls though. Can Hobbsy take those mediums to the end? No way, but he might try. As Jelly gets a DRS, doesn't get the exit he wants down the boulevard. I don't think he'll be able to make a move, but Hobbsy's already probably moving to the left to defend. Never mind, and they'll have to wait to at least lap 21 unless Hobbsy makes a mistake. He actually taps Hobbsy there. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. I think a Toro Rosso and someone has just had a bit of an incident. Oh no, never mind. Yeah,
Smithy
you're right.
on his own, and it's the tunnel section again. And he doesn't appear to want to move. I'm not sure if I like
it. It's so on board with Chris Panda, and you can see the Ferraris are stuck as Chris Panda goes round at 10 miles an hour to get past the Ferrari. There will be a Suez guy.
Again, it's Smithy and Chimp that don't seem to want to get along with each other. I'm not. I mean, Smithy's just stuck out with Jay Wills. I'm not liking this at all tonight. I mean, what is going on there? I'm all for a bit of competitiveness. I don't mind that. Obviously, it's F1, it's a competitive game, but whether it's a practice or not, we don't like to see stuff like that. I mean, I was having a discussion with Jelly the other day about rules, because obviously, for like my league that has 3 divisions, 60 drivers, a stewarding setup and stuff, the rules have to be very elongated. Oh, safety car, Limmy, sorry. Quickly, safety cars come out.
Oh, you're right, yeah. The rules for an F1 league that is really serious and has 60 drivers has to be very elongated. And the rules is a massive part because you have to cover everything. Because what other league owners have told me is, if you don't cover everything, people will exploit stuff and they'll say, well, you didn't say I couldn't do that. You didn't say I couldn't do that. And the problem with your league is you gave me precise instructions at the start of the season. You said, Limmy, I need rules, I need strict rules, but you can't give them an essay because they're new to it. There are things that I've missed out on purpose, because if I was to use all the rules that you need for an online league, the drivers will be there for about 4 weeks trying to read them. One of the rules in my leagues, a very key rule that isn't written in yours, is you must use all racing rules and etiquette for a practice race. Now, if I have to get that in writing, which I obviously need to now, that's it. And the problem is, at the moment we started off with 2 pages of rules, not even 2 pages, like 4 or 5 paragraphs. And I've had to keep adding and adding and adding because things just keep cropping up, and we've had to make the stewarding more stricter, not only because I want people to learn what it's like, but because we've had to. And tonight I'm going to have to now get in writing that you must use all racing rules in practice races. I
mean, a few things I like to touch on, and I think you hit the nail on the head again there, but we've mentioned it already. I completely understand that. I'll have it. Even at commentary now, we sit back, we're not really on the edge of our seat at all. If this was on Saturday and there was a safety car with 8 or 9 laps to go, we'd be all over it. It is a practice
Yeah,
race. You can't really get excitement as much, but you've got to understand at the same time is the majority of these drivers here have come here tonight, turned up late again, committed to get some practicing ahead of the race on Saturday, and you've got to take it seriously. You know, we've seen 3 or 4 incidents, and we've been lucky to that. We've seen them on stream. We've been quite fortunate. It's very easy to miss things on stream, but we've caught them on stream, all 3 or 4 incidents tonight that aren't acceptable. And if you did that in the race on Saturday, you'd likely be kicked. And I don't want to get into that. I don't want to sound dead negative, but you know, this is a competitive league, and people haven't turned up to mess around. And I'm sure that we'll touch on it later. But disappointing to see because we don't normally see it. They're normally quite well behaved, this lot. There's a couple of incidents here and there, but in the practices, as J-Wolves is now disqualified for ignoring the yellow flag, that's him gone. I'm sure he'll be a bit annoyed with the incident a minute ago.
Off there because the safety car told him to overtake, which he should do. He was a back marker.
Okay. That's
he should
shame.
be allowed. The safety car had its green lights on as well. I caught it on stream. With green light on a safety car, so it has yellow, green, yellow, which means the car can overtake. When it's yellow, 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 obviously you can't. It wasn't yellow, and then obviously when the lights go off, it comes in. But yeah, just going back to the point about the rules and stuff. I mean, we put a lot of man hours. I mean, I spend probably an hour and a half after every single race doing all the incidents and stuff. And what you don't want to see is people. I mean, I know he can't swear, but taking a mick a little bit. There you go. So you saw the green lights on the safety car on my stream anyway. So Smithy wasn't allowed to overtake. The lights on the safety car turned green. Now they're back to yellow. So Smithy shouldn't be disqualified. It doesn't look like Jay Wills has got a big problem.
He has been disqualified, Limmy.
No, he's racing fine.
No, I meant Smithy has been disqualified as well. Is this Wills actually racing?
So.
Or...
Yeah, it doesn't actually look like Smithy, actually.
I'm not too sure.
Let's have a look at the power. So you have to look at the power. Just try and gauge what the wheel movements and stuff. So Smithy's definitely not driving himself, by the way. That's definitely... yeah, I think Jay Wills is an AI as well. Yeah, puts on the same amount of power. I think... Actually, I don't know. No, I'm
really confused. I'm quite confused here.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. But Chris Panda leads. That's the most important thing. And Chris Panda has his wing back, first of all, and he's got brand new mediums. Jelly and Mike's 4-lappers. Hobbsy and Mills behind as well. Kez brings Mills in, brings Jacko hugely in. Soft compound for him.
Yeah.
Brings Chimping to a piece of...
I'll have a quick look at the penalties quickly, Limmy, for you. Just so we know where we're at. Jelly's got a 3-second, but I think it's not just the only one. I think Jelly's got multiple, hasn't he? I'm pretty sure anyway. He's got 6. He's got 9. Yeah, 9 seconds for Jelly, I think. 12 seconds for Jelly, even. Which isn't good. Mike's got a multiple as well. Chris Panda's got at least 1. So as you said, Limmy, it does bring the likes of Hobbsy and Mills back into the fold as well.
Absolutely spot on. Yeah, let's have another discussion because the safety car's got a bit to go yet. Might even do another one.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I was just going to say. So we were discussing rules and opinions about leagues, and that's the. So when I speak to league owners and Sam EVR, Twig BPRL, Race Spec, the Australian guy, I can't remember his name. If you're watching, I'm sorry. X-Spirit. All these league owners that have built fantastic leagues, that have done fantastically well. Penny with PSF1. They always say the hardest part is the drivers.
Yeah.
It's not about making the rules. It's not about getting your shoeies in. It's not about having the right admin. It's not about doing the calendar or the graphics. It's the drivers and how you deal with them. Now, the way PSF1, the thing you commented in Abu Dhabi, the way they deal with it is by giving the strictest penalties possible. So, for example, a yellow wing, a slight tap, you're trying to overtake someone, you give them a yellow wing, 10-second penalty. It's the harshest of penalties.
But it stops people doing it.
It teaches, absolutely. There's a rule covering every single thing, and they don't do practice races, and I completely agree. when I do my league, there's going to be 60 drivers plus reserves. You're going to have to make happy, and it's hard. It's a new game as well. There'll be things that I'll be learning. The drivers will be learning. But like you said, it's a 19 driver league. All people from pro clubs, or only a couple of people you haven't actually heard of. But when they do things like that, you have to do something about it.
I think that's right. I mean, the commentary we did on the league with you last week. Obviously, the drivers in that league, and no respect to the drivers that are in this league, but in that league they do it for I wouldn't say for a living, but it's their passion, isn't it? It's their pro clubs, for example.
They play it, they go to bed.
The majority of these lads, if you see on your stream now, play pro clubs. They like the VFL. That's their sort of their passion on PS4. Whereas the lads who we see not doing the racing for you the other day, they love F1. These lads enjoy F1. But I mean, look, I'm not expecting top end racing. I'm not expecting best behaviour at all times because they're new to the game, but it's basic rules. I mean, look, it's only a practice. Again, I don't want to keep going over it, but you can't do things like we've seen tonight because there's people who turn up to get practicing.
But that's it. So people turn up their own time. They could go to bed for work.
Yeah.
Or they could, do something else with a family or watch a film, whatever. And they've turned up to do 31 laps of Singapore, which is about 55 minutes of practice. They've turned up to see what they can do in quali. They've seen what they can do in quali, the strategy. If a safety car comes in here, what's the strat? If it comes in here, what's the strat? Blah blah blah. What are your defensive lines? What are your offensive lines? Now that's me thinking from a Formula One racing point of view. That stuff, all of them, but some do. And Chimp was blocked under a tunnel. The Ferrari drove onto a track. He couldn't get past. He got hit and tries to take him out. I mean,
we're not going to individually pull somebody. This is you're not going to put in the chat. You did this. You did this. It's going to be a message to everybody just to say, look, we're all here for one reason, to enjoy it and to race. And I don't want to make it I don't want to make it boring and seem like I'm a teacher and moaning at everybody, because it's not like that. But it's just that we're in a competitive league. And although we're not playing for points and that, you have to sort of, behave yourself.
Sometimes you have to be a teacher.
Yeah,
sometimes
I suppose so.
You have to put your foot down and say, no, you can't do this. And sometimes you do have to single people out, because if you say, well, everyone, we can't do this, but everyone's like, well...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so you make a fair point.
Anyway, we're on lap 24 of 30. Sometimes you have to be strict, just like a football manager.
To be cruel, to be kind, Limmy. To be cruel, to be kind.
I like that. Anyway, lap 24 of 31. We're about to go on to 25. 7 laps of racing remaining. We'll stop being dull and talk about negative things. We will after, but we'll get on with some racing in Singapore. Chris Panda leads with newer tyres. Jacko's already got a place on J Woods with his soft compound tyres as well. Hobbsy gets past Mike. Might have got his elbows out into turn 1, 2 and 3 there as well. I didn't quite catch it on the stream. Jelly's second, Hobbsy's third, Mike fourth, Mills not doing bad in fifth. He's got Chimp for company in sixth. The Alpha Male Jacko's in seventh with soft tyres, only 6 seconds away from leader. Don't count Jacko out yet.
Everybody's got away well. I mean, no one's really... I don't think anybody got any damage. I didn't catch it. If they did, you may have caught some damage, but I certainly did not. Some ball with Chimp. Him and Mills have a bit of a battle, and I'm sure that'll continue a bit later on down the line. But yeah, everybody got away well. Nothing to report on really at the moment. Chris Panda pulls away well, followed by Jelly, but don't forget Jelly's penalties. I do believe it is 12 seconds, which could come costly. And realistically, at the moment, this race is Chris Panda's to lose.
Absolutely, Mike getting close to the wall just before the big section. Hobbsy breaks late as well, but he's right on the back of Jelly as well. He's got a decent exit, 30% Cody's slipstream to help him out as well. Oh, his Jelly moves defensive as well. Good move, he's allowed to do it just in case, as long as he didn't cause any damage, and he didn't. And Hobbsy's coming back at him again, looks to the inside as Jelly covers it off. Oh, they break into each other and Hobbsy gets a 3-second pen for that. I'm sure we'd take that off on Saturday. That's a bit unforced, but it's all kicking off, Kez. Cars have more fuel, they've charged the batteries, they have newer tyres, and they're racing for 6 laps to go.
It's what I like to call the business end of the race, Limmy. Everything that you do now matters. One little slip up now, and the likelihood is your race is over. Chris Panda putting in fast laps. He is flying. He wants his first win. It may not class as a win in terms of points, but I'm sure he will take it. And what momentum that would be going into the weekend for Chris Panda. But what I would like to say quickly is, going back to the penalties, Jelly with multiple penalties, Hobbsy with a few, Chris Panda's got at least one. Mills and Chimp haven't got any, I believe. I will double check that in a moment. But an opportunity to get the foot down a little bit, could be on for a cheeky podium. You never know. The drivers in front of him are quicker. But penalties do come into account as well, Limmy, as Hobbsy goes for the overtake on Jelly.
Absolutely, as Jacko moves to the left-hand side of the tower, so chip down the boulevard into turn 7, I think it is, and sorry, 8, 7, it is 7, and he gets, he does get the position initially, but Chimp fights back on 8 laps to mediums, and Jacko goes down the inside to turn 10, and still can't quite get it done. Jacko, if you're listening, just a tip for you, before the boulevard, stay outside, you would have got him. Anyway, if you're not listening, it means nothing, as Jacko stays on the back of Chimp. And it's, that's what I mean. So these drivers, it's all about learning, and we're at the end of an F1 cycle here, and this may differ to next year's, because the cars will handle differently, the track evolution will be different, but it's all about learning the lines you can learn. Oh, someone's off, it's Hobbsy. It is Hobbsy. His McLaren is 90 degrees to the right. And Hobbsy's race, bit of karma, Jacko may say as he drives past. He's probably smiling with the biggest grin on his alpha face. But Hobbsy is now into P8 as Jacko still hunts down Chimp, who breaks late down into the tunnel section. Yellow flag set to 3. It's Hobbsy again as he's struggling for traction. DRS is back on as Chris Panda leads us on. 5 laps to go, and Jacko's overtake is due any moment now as he don't get a penalty.
I thought he would have got one there with me as well. What I would say is quickly, Chimp and Mills, your podium is not over yet. Let me and I think that's obviously giving up. It looks over. Mills gets a penalty. Every time I say something, it happens.
But Chimp and Jacko are tussling, and this is buying Mills time. As long as he doesn't have damage, he should be okay as Chimp struggles for the exit, but he's doing okay. Can he survive another alpha attack down the boulevard? Chimp goes defensive. Jacko on the outside down to turn 7. Jacko breaks late, gets the move done.
Was a racing from Chimp and Jacko. Very fair as well, nothing wrong with that. They've both got work to do, but don't let them out of a podium just yet. Is it Will? It's Jay Wills! He's come off again! And Smithy and Wills! Oh, and again. For the 5th time. So that another incident we're going to have to look back on. Because, I mean, I don't know what to say on that, Limmy.
Jay Wills gets a pen for it. Chris Panda 6 seconds ahead on lap 27 of Singapore. He's having a mad one. Someone's dropping arrows. It's Mike Whitty at the Briggs section. He's gone down to 6. He's messed up somewhere. No damage. So it's a braking zone, and we've seen about 8 people. 8 times, sorry, miss that break. If you don't brake before you see the right kink on the wall, you're in trouble.
Let me quick comment. As it stands, if my maths is correct, and my maths isn't the best by any means, we are on for a Renault top 2 in the Singapore practice.
No, your maths is on, Kez. It is. It's a 6-second gap, and Mills is actually racing really well, as long as he doesn't get tussled by Jacko in the last few laps, which is definitely possible because the Alpha's on softs and he's cruising. You are right. Could be about the top 2. What a picture that would be! I'd actually take a picture of that myself and put it on Twitter and thumbnail it on my video. I'd actually put it in the league highlights, even though it isn't even a proper race. How good would that be for their morale going into not only Italy but Singapore on Saturday?
Another fact I'd like to mention is that Jacko's got 6 seconds worth of penalties. Right. Chimp has none. So don't rule out Chimp of a good finish yet either. Mike is getting back into race as well, so we've got a real interesting end here. If Mills can keep within, I believe it's 9 seconds of Jelly. I think Jelly's got 12 and Mills has got 3.
So it's gone from 6 to 7.3.
Yes. But regardless, Mills has got, even if he don't get second, a great chance of a podium because the racer behind him is Jacko, and he's got 6 seconds. So it could be on for at least a Renault podium.
ERS up and use a bit. Also,
get your foot down, Mills.
If Jelly makes a mistake as well, Mills, get your foot down some, but just don't
get a taste of that podium. Look, it is a practice race. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Ryan Mills to get a podium in a practice of Singapore, what a boost that is for the weekend.
Absolutely. Sorry to interrupt you again, likewise,
no problem.
And respectively. But Mike was going wheel to wheel with Chimp down to 14, and Mike did get through, unless he was already through, but Mike's into 5th. The Alpha's not actually closed his gap, Kez, to Mills. Don't count Jake out for making a mistake. We saw what happened in Spain. I know he wasn't well. Also, it's Singapore, and it's Jelly. Sorry, Joe. He wasn't. No, I'm joking. But he is liable to a corner cut even now and again. And Mills would love a podium here. He's still on for a podium. We're talking about him fighting for a P2 here. He's definitely on for a podium. However, there is an Alpha with 6 seconds of pen, so take him out, and it's Mike ready. So 4.4 seconds Mike has to find in 3 laps. Possible. But he's opened it up a little bit, which is cool. And,
you're definitely better at maths than I am, Limmy. So I'll go through the penalties quickly for you, and you can do a bit of maths.
Oh no, not now.
Well, Jelly's definitely got 12. We know that.
Oof. I mean, listen, on Saturday, mate, by this time we're probably sweating and drinking half our cordials and everything, mate. So
probably need something stronger than cordial in Singapore, don't you?
Too much. What you should do as a commentator is live it and see what happens at the end. Live the moment.
Surprise.
That's the best thing. Like the PSF1 finale last season.
Got 2 in the pits, Limmy.
The championship decider went to a final corner. Yeah, 2 in the pits.
Hobbsy and Smithy, their races are over.
Right at the back for them guys as Jay Wills moves up 1 as well. Mike, a second from Jacko. Still 4 for Mills though. 2 laps to go as one ball with Chris Panda. Rooting through the tunnel section. Unbelievable after the safety car. Bearing in mind, Jelly had 3 lap extra mediums. Yeah, probably about 6% there. But Chris Panda's opened up a gap from 0.5 behind a safety car to 8.3 plus penalties. Unbelievable pace, and he's still got full battery. As Hobbsy comes out the pits, I'm sure he'll let Chris Panda pass. As Chris Panda's got to be very careful just to make sure the blue marker gets out of the way, and he does. Oh, Smithy has smashed his Ferrari down the boulevard. And it looked a bit purposeful, not gonna lie. I just saw a Ferrari going left and right and then into a wall.
I'm trying to play back with a couple of the settings limit. Mills is up 9 from the start and has only stopped once. Just wanted to let you know about that because it's pretty interesting from Mills. Only a
Jacko.
1 stop.
You're right, and it's worked. Jacko is under threat by Mike. It's all about exit speed down the boulevard, and Mike might have it, but the soft tyres are helping him out just. Mike has DRS, moves to the left-hand side. Oh, he has to brake, but he might dive bomb it for the P4 position. Whoever gets through can chase Mills. Mike gets through, and do you know why he got through, Kez? Because the soft tyres are dying.
That's it, it's getting to the stage now where I think everybody's... Oh, Jelly's retired! Oh, there's a bit of drama in Singapore, and Ryan Mills is on for a podium!
Quickly, through turn 15,
oh,
no, sorry, 12.
My
we've got
word.
into the wall on the
We have got
side.
drama! There is edge of the seat action!
Mike!
No!
Mike as well! On my stream!
Oh my god!
Mike has just hit him as well on my stream! I don't know if you had it.
No, I missed it. I missed it. I was on board with
I had it
Mills.
right on my stream. So Mike slowed down, but couldn't turn right enough. And Mills and Chris Panda are on for a Renault top 2. And Chimp's getting a podium.
Get your foot down because you're getting
Jacko,
a podium as well.
Because Jacko has penalties. And he's got dying soft tyres as well.
Look, I get it's a practice. But that is edge of the seat action. That's what I want to see in a practice. Red Bull's going out together. Going on to the last lap of Singapore, and as it stands, just as it stands, because it can change, Ryan Mills and Chimp are getting podiums in Singapore. You won't see that very often. It is only a practice, but wow. Wow.
We are on board with Chris Panda, and he's halfway through, not halfway through, about a third of the way through lap 31, and we've just seen the craziest lap 30 action with 1 lap to go, you can ever see.
Wow.
On a practice race or anything. A Red Bull going out and his teammates smacking into the side and allowing Chimp, who's gone from P7 after hitting a Ferrari of not his wrongdoing, is about to get a podium. Maybe. He's got 1.4 seconds to hold out. I'm hoping you'll be able to watch it as I go through the top 2.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on that.
It's going to be so close. It's just incredible. I mean, that is just really shown anyone who's watching or who watches, who's got to this point, what Singapore is about. And that can happen lap 1, lap 30, lap 10. As we go on board with Chris Panda to go through the final corner, and McLaren's gone off, but it doesn't matter. Chris Panda on the practice race wins in Singapore with 25 seconds later. His His candidate,
Wow.
his Ocon, whoever it is, with the fireworks
Jacko's come
still
off!
going.
Jacko's come off! And he's hit Chimp! There's more drama, but Chimp's gone past him and got the P3! Sorry to interrupt, Limmy, right at the
It's
end.
okay.
Wow! Wow!
Line with a Renault 1-2. And Chimp comes through as chicane. I actually saw that. I just thought you to react.
I'm not sure what happened with Jacko and Chimp. Did they
Chimp
I'm not sure, I don't know.
Fine,
oh my
22.
word.
Crosses the line. And Chimp gets a podium in Singapore after being P7 2 laps ago.
Wow. That's what you want to see in a practice race. It's only a practice race, but wow.
Wait for it.
I know what you're going to do.
Wow.
No, that is incredible. Incredible.
Unbelievable scenes. I mean, Mike Jelly and J. Wilson Hobbsy, 4, 5, Jacko having incidents in the final 2 laps. And by the way, Kez, Chris Panda won by 24 seconds. He was 10 seconds ahead after the safety car restart. Chris Panda, mediums have a way to go for you on Saturday.
If you needed something to give you a bit of a boost and look forward to this race on Saturday,
going in for
you have seen 2 of the best laps you've probably ever seen in F1 race. I know that's a big thing to say. We was a bit dull. It got to stage where I was like, oh, you know, this has happened. Not really much is going to happen now. And then boom, we hit with 2 or 3 incidents that have changed everything. And let's look at the podium, because Chris Panda's got first, joint by Ryan Mills, a double Renault top 2, and Chimp's on there as well. I mean, look, Limmy, we do predictions all the time. We could have done 100 predictions tonight, and no disrespect to Chimp or Mills, we would never have predicted them to get on the podium. Never. And that is no disrespect at all, but you would never have predicted it. You would never have predicted that podium, and that is class.
Listen,
wow.
It's 20. I've been up all day. It's 20 past 11. I'm so awake after what I've just witnessed.
I cannot wait to watch that back. Look at all them penalties. And fair play to Chimp. If you look at them penalties there, he's the only racer that finished the Grand Prix to not pick up a single penalty. Sorry to interrupt again, Limmy.
We had 2 VSCs, we had a safety car, and that lasted 58 minutes. And that's with a full grid. Also, Mills, 12th to 2nd. By the way, Mills if you go back to my stream, or your stream, I mean, you might not have been on board with Mills at the time. My quote was, and Mills in P12 lines for last car up on the grid. 58 minutes later, him and his teammates sit on a front 2, first and second, in Singapore, with both Red Bulls out on that 30. You could not write that.
That's come up for air in it, because it's been a pretty, I wouldn't say a dull commentary, but there's not been much going. There's been a bit of a controversy on track, a bit of negativity here and there. But I mean, that last 2 laps, if we can have half of that drama on Saturday, and on Friday in Italy, let's not forget Italy. We're sort of, overshadowing Italy a little bit. Let's not forget Italy, because that'll be a superb race. It's a very fast circuit. I'm sure you'll give us a bit more info in Italy, Jack. You know a lot more of it than me. But let's not rely on Italy. Let's talk about Italy now. It's such a fast circuit, because we're not about Singapore so much.
Italy's braking points and the Ascari section, the left, right, left. That's where we'll see people go off. We'll either see people breaking into people's back gearboxes, or Ascari. And that's the beauty of F1. 2 different circuits. One's power 82%, one Singapore 50%.
Got 2 real different races this weekend. I mean, like I say, if we can have a bit of that on the Saturday as commentators, that's what you love to see. Quick update for you. We will be putting in, if you're still watching, we've got 9 viewers still watching on my stream. Not sure about Limmy's, but thank you for tuning in as always. We'll be putting a bit of an update in the chat. Limmy will probably do it better than I will, with regards the etiquette on track.
Etiquette, I like that.
You've used it, so I'm going to start using it.
I love that word, I love it.
No, Limmy will probably put an update in, because it is only a practice, but we don't, we want to see fair racing, don't we? We don't want to see any controversy, shall we say? But I mean, wow. I mean that as a practice race, you cannot ask for any more than that for the last 2 laps. And I cannot wait to watch it back.
No, absolutely. I'll be watching it back. A couple of clips that will go on the end of season montage that I'm going to try and make as
Oh,
well.
I like that. That's a good idea. I like that.
Just for the funny times, and also the montage will. And don't forget the last race, really. The last race, the date, sorry, of the last race. I'm just going to quickly check. Is the 4th of July, and a week after that. We'll be into the new F1, and this one will be forgotten, although this was a fantastic upgrade on 18. And it will be a bit of a moment, because I've probably put about 1,000 hours into this game. And that'll be my last commentary session as well, and it'll be a bit emotional, because I've never commentated for a full game. You know, I've never played FIFA for thousands of hours, or like you do, and yeah, bit of a weird feeling. And going back to, I was trying to just... I'd be a bit emotional.
It's nice to sit here and discuss after a race, isn't it? Because normally after the stream it's sort of like, thanks for watching, goodbye, see you later.
But there's a reason for that. It's because we've just spoken for an hour, shouting, screaming.
I mean, that's the positive to a practice race. Like, I think you mentioned it earlier. In a real race, you don't have time for conversation, do you? It's eye on the ball racing.
Practices in real F1. Yeah, it's just talking. There's no shouting.
Yeah, it's more laid back.
Have 4 people in the commentary box.
But I mean, like you've mentioned, I mean, I put effort into this league, not half as much effort as what Jack's done for his league, and I'm sure you'll see a lot of Jack's league on Twitter and on Discord, etc. when it comes around in a few weeks' time. But Jack's helped me a lot. I want to thank Jack really, because without his stewarding, etc., I'd be useless. Because I started off as a driver. Now I'm a commentator. I don't really know the ins and outs of F1 as much as Jack does. I'm more of a football person, so I thank Jack for that. But I'm looking forward to... I'm looking forward to this weekend, especially Singapore. I mean, you could not ask. That's what I like to see. You know, I've started a league up, competitive, and that is a snippet there, 2 or 3 minute snippet of what can happen in an F1 race, and it's nice to see.
Let's just, you know, because... I said this during Spain. I said, picture it as if it was a real race. If that happened on Saturday, but we've just witnessed, that is something that I will, even though it's just a little competitive, I will never forget if that happened in my gaming career. When you look at when the PS5 comes out, and you look back at your PS4 clips, and you look back at the YouTube videos you've done.
And I'll tell you something.
On Saturday.
Oh, you'll never forget it. And I can tell you something. I bet Mills and Chimp won't forget it, because they don't get holidays very often.
Party in about 2 minutes.
I know people will sit there and go, "Hang on, it's only a practice. It's only a practice. You know, it doesn't mean anything." In terms of points, you end yours. You say bye to yours.
Bye.
In terms of points, yes, it is only a practice. They've gained nothing in terms of the league, but they have gained is the fact that they can finish Singapore, and to finish Singapore in itself is something. But to get a podium in Singapore is incredible.
I mean, what we will know now, we are going to have a stream, so you can go off and go to work or whatever in the morning, but there will be some conversation in the Discord chat that we can't wait to read after tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Please end it, as I do want to...
I know, you're right. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for watching. There's only 4 people. I think we've bored a few people, and I think a few have gone. They've like, no, that's it, I'm going.
Left,
but no, we just wanted to discuss a few things. Obviously, it's been a great race. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you in just 3 days' time for Monza, and then in 4 days' time back in Singapore, where I'm sure there'll be plenty more drama, where we're actually playing for something. So we will see you later on this week. Thank you as always, Limmy. Thank you for the drivers, and we will see you next time.